All right, guys, let's transition a little bit here. Let's go to the NBA and talk about a guy who scored 92 points in the last two games. Steph Curry is balling out. I know last week we called him a fraud. Well, more accurately, Ezzus called him a fraud. Boys, what? Steph is going supernova. He's going supernova. He dropped 30 tonight. What do y'all have to say?
You have to acknowledge, Elias, that he's the greatest shooter of all time.
Okay, sure, when he has spacing. That's literally what my argument has been throughout this whole thing. When he has spacing, he is the greatest shooter of all time. When he doesn't have it, you see what happens, right? Like, yes, people are going to say, oh, he put up 30 points against the Kings, which is like, okay, it's the Kings. But the thing is, Kelly Oubre shot 4 for 6. So you don't think the Kings were like, okay, we can't double team Steph anymore. We got to like let him be able to like get some space. Like people don't understand that. Like he needs his space. And what I said is that when he had Clay, KD, and to an extent Draymond Green, he had the spacing that he needed in order to get his shot off. Which
now,
go.
I was gonna say I do want to counter this though, because against Portland when he dropped 62, a new career high by the way. I think Oubre and Wiggins both combined for like 2 from 10 from 3. You know?
No, like there's no doubt. Like there's going to be days where he does go off.
Like he's an MVP. Like we should expect him to do this.
Yeah, like the fact that 62 is his high now is kind of like what was it before? You know, like
54.
I understand that. Like okay, 54. Like people do that in their sleep. Like James Harden does that in his sleep. Come on.
Dame Dollar dropped 3 60-point games just last year.
That is true.
But the thing is, like,
Klay Thompson did it before him.
We should expect, like, Steph Curry. I personally think he's the greatest shooter of all time because he does stuff like this. He's just magic. You know, he's going to have these games where the bucket seems like it's the size of a dumpster and everything he shoots is just going to go in. Doesn't matter. The spacing doesn't matter. But that's only, like, we're going to see this no matter what in a couple games a year. But that doesn't mask the fact that he's been horrible the 5 games prior. You know, he's on a pretty nice stretch now. He just shot about his career average from 3 this last game. And, like, yeah, it's awesome. But, like, the way NBA Twitter worked the night that he had that 60-point game, everyone was roasting Steph. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, yeah, you guys can shut up. Like, stop the slander. Like, he's Steph Curry. This guy is awesome. It's like you're missing the point. I personally think he's the greatest shooter of all time. I just don't think he's on, like, a LeBron, KD level. I don't think he has that much impact on a team. That's my problem with him. And I don't think one game or a couple of games a year changes that.
Yeah, I think he is a great piece on a championship team. Like you can't like they don't win those finals without Steph, but he also like he wasn't the guy to like win you those games. You know, like clearly those finals. Like he clearly wasn't the guy because he hasn't won a finals MVP. And I know like that's what everyone says, but like he is a great piece on a championship team, but you like individually he can't do it himself. That's why I think he's a fraud. Like if he brings this team to the playoffs, I will change my mind. But I haven't seen it from him.
I mean, does like being an 8th seed change that though?
I mean, no, it really doesn't change it. But to like other people, it will change it. They'll be like, oh, but he made it to the playoffs with this team. You know what I'm saying?
You know who we need to hear from? We need to hear from Lucas from Cali to Cuse. You can check them out over on the Challenge Podcast Network, both on Anchor, Spotify, and now Google Podcasts. That was a plug.
I do think we have to give a shout out to Andrew Wiggins, though, because he's been getting a bulk of the slander.
Yeah, and he's turned it around, man.
Yeah, he's been pretty decent. I mean, he's doing what they need him to do. He's getting his shots. You know, he's not a great 3-point shooter, obviously, but that's not really his game. And honestly, it's pretty cool to see him add other stats to the other parts of the stat sheet. I remember he'd be like dropping 20 points and then he'd have like a rebound and a assist. Like now he's grabbing like 5+ rebounds a game and a couple assists. So it's pretty nice to see him grow as the player.
I think at one point 2 seasons ago, I said that he was going to be one of those great all around guys. And then the game after, he had like a 22, 1, and 3 stat line. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, well,
it just sucks. It's like
Wiggins.
You can jump higher than everyone on the court. Why are you not grabbing rebounds? No excuse.
No, I mean, before he just didn't have the muscle, but now he finally does.
Yeah.
He's looking like a tall Kevin Hart out there.
And I think if Wiggins continues to play this well, it's going to help with spacing too, even if he's not really shooting the three, just because you have to worry about his cutting ability and his mid-range.